My name's Harry West. I'm just going to give a very brief introduction to this program. So the reason we set up this program is because there's growing need for business leaders with strong technical skills. And as I'm sure that most of you, not more than just aware, you're probably thinking about it. In fact, you may even be looking at this program because of the extraordinary developments in generative AI over the last couple of years. This is just one example of incredible technical breakthroughs that are posing very difficult business challenges for leaders. How do they respond to these new technologies? How do they manage these new technologies? How can they take advantage of them? What is their responsibility? So we set up this program to provide 2 degrees, a degree from one of the top-ranked business schools in the United States and one of the top-ranked engineering schools. We pulled together an amazing faculty. We have attracted, in our first year last year, an extraordinarily diverse range of students. And on this call, you're seeing some of the incredible support team that we have for that group. And it's all taking place here in the amazing city of New York, which is like one of the epicenters for this revolution. So we look forward to you joining us.
Hey, and my name is Daniel Guetta. I think I'll introduce myself in a little more detail in a few slides, but I just want to say a few words about Columbia Business School, which is the school I'm a faculty at. Truly exceptional place, amazing community, amazing faculty. We're very fortunate to be in New York City, which, well, do I need to convince you that New York City is the place to be? Wonderful, wonderful city. So many businesses, really the center of many of the innovations that we are seeing today, both technologically and in the business world. And again, I'll have plenty more to say later on in the presentation about why Columbia Business School is such a special place. But one of the really, I think, most attractive aspects of this program is that ability to fully draw from Columbia Business School's resources as well as Columbia Engineering's resources.
So it's me back again. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Columbia Engineering. So it's a small undergraduate school at Columbia, but quite a large graduate school, several thousand engineers from all over the world, a world-class faculty, tremendous expertise in the area of, for example, robotics, climate change, AI, energy, materials. So cutting edge science, developments that are going to make a difference for us and our civilization over the next 20, 30, 40 years, your lifetime, in fact. So there's a tremendous opportunity to learn, also a very strong entrepreneurial and innovation culture amongst the students, and tremendous opportunity to network amongst those students and also amongst our alumni. We have over 51,000 alumni right now around the world.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the world-class knowledge that you're going to get here at Columbia University. Before, I just wanted to briefly pause and apologize. I didn't give introductions in the beginning. My name is Ryan Lamontia. I work at Columbia Business School in the admissions office, and I also want to introduce you to my counterpart colleague, Natasha, over at the School of Engineering, and in addition to Daniel and Harry, who we'll get to know a little bit better throughout this whole thing.
So let me just introduce our deans, and it's our deans that are responsible for setting up the program in the first place. Shifu Chang, who's the Dean of Columbia Engineering, and he wanted us to recognize how important it is to provide students with a broad exposure to emerging technology breakthroughs, because you're the people who are going to have to take responsibility for those breakthroughs, to develop them, to manage them, to make the right decisions about them. And Shifu Chang got together with the dean of the business school, who Daniel's going to introduce in a moment, and were the masterminds behind creating this program.
Absolutely. Costis Maglaras, Dean of the Columbia Business School. I have to tell you, I've been at Columbia Business School for 12 years now. And I have to tell you, I can't remember a time when Costis was not excited about this program and wasn't talking about this program and wasn't counting down the days till a program like this could begin. And so this is really a program that's very close to the heart of both our deans. They both, quite rightly, and I think Harry and I agree, recognize the importance of this kind of interdisciplinary experience that we're going to be talking about throughout this presentation. And so it feels great to be sort of part of a program that is sort of so central, I think, to what we see as both schools' missions.
Now I'm going to formally introduce myself. So my name is Harry West. I'm faculty director from Columbia Engineering side. I have a PhD in robotics. I was originally on the faculty at MIT. But at MIT, a long, long time ago, I fell in love with design. So I left academia and worked as a practicing designer and business leader. I ran two of the larger design firms in the world, Continuum and Frog. Eventually, both of those were sold. They're now part of EPAM and Capgemini. But for 25 years, I created new products and services. I helped startups launch new businesses around new products and services. I led creative teams, and I advised senior business leaders on how to take advantage or how to think about new technology and new opportunities. When we sold the last company, Frog, I had to exit the business for a few years, and Columbia recruited me to join the engineering school to help set up a kind of human-centered, design-oriented program. And then early on, I was recruited to help form this joint degree program, and I've been working with Daniel over the last few years in bringing this to the world. Daniel.
And I'm Daniel Guerra, the program director from the business school side. I actually initially trained as a physicist, but then decided I kind of wanted to get more applied. So I did a PhD in data-driven supply chain management, which at the time was still today actually is an incredibly important sort of topic. Very much at the cutting edge of machine learning, AI, data science, and sort of data-driven operations. And that PhD was actually at Columbia Business School. So I spent 5 years as a student at Columbia Business School. After that, I actually went to industry. So I spent some time at Palantir Technologies, a big data consulting company that sort of helps entities around the world, whether it be government or private companies, just get more value out of their data. And then around 7 years ago, Costis Maglaras, who at the time was not the dean, was chair of our division and later became the dean, he reached out to me and said, listen, Daniel, I have a feeling, something in my bones tells me that this sort of, data analytics thing is going to be a big deal. This data analytics thing is going to be something all our MBA students are going to need to know about going forward. Digital transformation is going to be something a lot of them will spend much of their careers involved in. Could you come back to Columbia and help us beef up our analytics curriculum? And so I did that. And so 7 years ago, I came back and I teach a lot of classes on classical machine learning, on the sort of more advanced Gen AI that we're seeing take over the world, it seems, today. And I was sort of very, very pleased to be asked to be the program director of this MBA XMS program from the business school side, because it's really close to my heart. I think I always found throughout my career that I straddle the boundary between being someone who's more business-minded, business-focused, who might do an MBA, and someone who actually likes to do math, to prove theorems, to code. And so there was always, in some sense, a lack of a home for me and for what I was looking for. And in some ways, this MBA XMS program would have been the perfect home for me, and hopefully will be a perfect home for you.
And here are a few of the other faculty. Oh, look, I show up twice. So Yev, who teaches the who teaches the fundamental design tools class, which is a really fun introductory class. So we recognize that students coming into our program are coming in from all sorts of backgrounds. They could be coming in from mechanical engineering, computer science, economics even, or finance. And so we want to bring everybody up to speed. And Yev has put together a program which takes people from zero to learning how to CAD, learning how to 3D print, learning how to build parts, learning how to build a circuit, learning how to train an AI. And by the end of the semester, you'll be training an AI to identify objects and then have built your own robot to pick up and sort those objects and race against your teammates in doing that. It's an extraordinary breakthrough class that he's created just for this program. And Hugh Thomas, who came to us from a series of very, very successful startups. Actually, let me take that back. Some of them were very successful, but in the startup business, some of them were less successful. On average, very successful startups. And he is lending his expertise and experience in both the development of mobile applications. So he teaches a class. So by the end of the semester, everybody will know how to build a mobile application. And also his extensive experience in launching and building startup companies. Daniel.
And I don't know what to make of the fact that I don't appear twice in the business school side of the slide, but what can you do? We have some truly exceptional faculty, and I'm very glad that we made space for them instead of me on the business school side of the slide. I mean, these are just picked at random. There is really a sort of whole range of faculty. I could spend the entire hour just talking about the wonderful colleagues I have at Columbia Business School. But we have here Dan Wang, who is absolutely at the cutting edge of thinking, of strategy thinking, of how we think, especially in this new world, these new technologies popping up. How do you adapt your company strategy to deal with those? Shine Yenga, absolutely world-famous scholar for her research on choice, Jorge Guzman on entrepreneurship, he teaches entrepreneurial strategy. And again, as I say, there's sort of many, many more, over 75 faculty members who are full-time at Columbia Business School, not even counting adjunct faculty members from industry that we bring in to teach classes as well. So a real smorgasbord of wonderful faculty you get to interact with here at Columbia.
Okay. So the first year curriculum, I will do the first half because in your first semester, it's more kind of engineering oriented. So we have a series of programs that bring everybody up to speed on how to create a new product or service and how to think about the act of creation in the technical space. So one of the first classes you take is around human-centered design and innovation. And this is a program that teaches you how to start with a human being, start with your customer first, and then build an idea around the customer rather than starting with the technology. The second bullet item on this list is the program I just described, taught by Hugh Thomas, which is design of UI, UX for connected systems. He teaches you how to build a mobile application and think more broadly about building digital applications. The third class here, Fundamentals as Frontiers of Tough Tech, is a class that I teach, which is in contrast to the human-centered design and innovation program, in that here, we're not looking just at the human need, but also at the deep technology that might be needed in order to deliver on that human need. So we're looking at that intersection of business solutions that address a real human need, but also use deep technology and addressing an important problem to society, such as climate change, the erosion of truth, issues around demographic change. These are some of the fundamental forces that are going to shape our society in your lifetime. And we're looking at some of the technologies that can impact these seismic changes in our world. And what are the implications for building a business around that? Building a business around the impact of climate change, or building a business around the dramatic inversion in the ratio of old people to young people that we're going to experience in the next 20 years. This is it's a program that combines elements of technology. We'll have a survey of some of the breakthrough technologies that that engineers and scientists are creating right now. It's a survey of some of the kind of most important societal forces affecting us. And it's a survey of some sort of elements of intellectual property and the challenge of fundraising and building a business around a difficult problem. It's in contrast to the mobile app development. The capital needs in mobile app development are light. The capital needs in tough tech are very, very high. And that forces a different approach to business. Many students who have taken this class have found that it has reframed how they think about what they want to focus on for the rest of the program. And that's part of the purpose of this class. We want you to, we select students who come in with a good idea, okay, who have a sense of mission, but then we want people to step back in their first year, rethink what they're doing here at Columbia, and then reconsider how they want to direct their lives. So the fourth bullet is the class taught by Year, Fundamental Design Tools, which I just described. And then in the spring semester, we have a class, which is, again, a leveling up class to bring everybody up to speed on working in Python and doing analytics in Python. And we figured out a way so that we can make this class relevant to both people with a computer science background, for whom they already have a strong background in Python, perhaps, and people who've never programmed before in their life. So Uday's figured out how to manage that. Daniel.
So let me talk about the business school side of this sort of first year curriculum. The first thing I should say is that, we absolutely wanted to make sure from the business school side that you got absolutely everything the, for lack of a better word, regular MBAs, so non-MBA XMS students were getting, and that you get extra for your particular background. And so what you're seeing, I'm going to begin actually counterintuitively with a spring semester, because that's kind of the easier one to describe. The blue classes you see on the bottom part of this slide in the spring semester are basically core classes that you will be taking with MBA students. So you'll be broken up into groups, split up into clusters of MBA students at Columbia who are not doing the MBA XMS program, and you'll be studying lead, strategy formulation, managerial economics, global economics environment, marketing, and so on and so forth. These very, very foundational core classes to any business school, to any MBA. And you'll be studying those with those students separately. What's interesting, though, about the spring semester, if you've done research into Columbia Business School and you've learned a little bit about our core curriculum, you'll notice that the spring semester does not include two absolutely key core classes that our MBAs take, and that is statistics and business analytics. And the reason for that is that we figured that students in the MBA XMS population already will probably have pretty strong technical background. Now, it might be coding background, it might be math background, right? There's all kinds of different backgrounds that, of course, we recruit from for this program. But we figured that it might not be the best use of your time to sit in a class for an hour and a half learning what the mean is or what the variance is. Now, that's something that's incredibly important, of course, to making and interpreting business decisions. And so we do teach it to the regular MBAs. But for our MBA XMS, we figured, you know what? Let's actually take them out for those two classes and give them their own section of statistics and business analytics. And it's a truly, truly fabulous class in the sense that it brings together all these sort of fundamentals of business statistics and business analytics, but it teaches them assuming you already know calculus, assuming you already know a little bit of coding, or giving you everything you need to get up to scratch, up to a level of the coding we need for that class. Now, the only bad news about that class is that I teach it. So that's where you'll see me in the full semester. That's the last bullet point in the full semester. And then the last class that I haven't spoken about on this slide is Foundations of Entrepreneurship. Now, that is not part of the core curriculum for quote unquote regular MBA students. They can take that as an elective. But we felt for this program, given that sort of one of the pillars of this program is indeed entrepreneurship, we wanted to give you that real background in entrepreneurship in the first semester. I have to tell you, we've only had one class of MBA XMS students go through so far. I've had some students from that class come to me and say, listen, I'm so happy we had that class in the first semester. I came to CBS never thinking I wanted to be an entrepreneur. That just was absolutely not on my radar. but I took that class and I was like, you know what, maybe I want to give it a try. There's really something there. And I should say also that that class, Foundations of Entrepreneurship, we very specifically chose to put you into a class that's going to have some other MBA students as well. So the stats and business analytics class will be just you and me. So it'll be sort of a class of how many of you we're fortunate enough to have join us. We'll just be in a class together. Foundations of Entrepreneurship, you'll actually be in a bigger class, including other MBA students, which again, we've sort of really sort of extensively discussed doing it one way or the other. And we've spoken to our current MBA XMS students, and they agree that it really adds a lot of value for them to be able to network as well as learn in that class. And so that kind of describes your full first year curriculum. Busy, but exciting.
Thank you. And after your first year, obviously comes the summer term. And through that summer track, you'll have the opportunity to pursue some hands-on experience through an entrepreneurship concentration where you can truly work on your startup. You will receive a stipend from Columbia University to help with that. Or you can choose to go our enterprise concentration route, which is taking a paid internship with a startup or a more established technology company that is well known. When it comes to the summer internship concentrations, we truly, you'll work with our career centers at both schools, the engineering school as well as Columbia Business School, to help find, your enterprise concentrations or help you with the entrepreneurship track as well. We have the Lang Entrepreneurship Center, which will help you in those endeavors. And when it comes to these concentrations, it's really important to consider what your goals are within this degree. In particular, what it is that you want to complete post MBA XMS graduation.
And now we move on to the second year. Now you have to fulfill an engineering concentration and a business concentration or entrepreneurship concentration. I'll talk about all those in the next few slides. All I'll say for this slide is just that the second year is in some sense where your options open up and where you get to pick a bunch of electives, both from the engineering school and the business school, to best match your goals post the program.
And then in your second year, you have an opportunity to choose a concentration. And we have 7 concentrations kind of laid out for you: advanced materials and nanotechnology, AI and machine learning, climate, energy and sustainability, medical device design, robotics and smart machines, software systems, supply chain, retail, and service systems. And we've identified specific classes that fit within these 7 concentrations, and we've negotiated with the chairs of each of these or the relevant departments to give you some priority in getting into these core classes. That's the reason why we have these concentrations. But we would encourage you to think about these concentrations as a starting point. So let me just give you a little story about one of our students who I just spent some time with actually yesterday, who came into the joint degree program with a strong background in computer science and several years working in big tech. And his original plan was he was going to do an AI startup. That was his plan, and that's why he was entering the program. But because of his experience over the first year, he realized, there's other things that I could be doing, and there may be other opportunities. So instead of launching into it immediately, he took an internship with an investment firm that is focusing on climate change investment. He wanted to understand the money flow and how investment businesses are thinking about decisions in climate change. And then he was in a moment of crisis at the end of last week, beginning of this week, because he was thinking, well, what do I do? I want to do both. So we talked it through yesterday, and we think we've crafted out a concentration for him in which he will take a couple of classes in some fundamentals of AI and machine learning, but then also bring in a class on climate and energy. And then he's going to launch a startup combining those interests. And I can't tell you what it is because it's a very clever idea. But he's got a clear plan. He knows the classes he needs to take to do this, and he's off to the races.
And then on the business school side, you have a choice of two concentrations, the entrepreneurship concentration or the enterprise concentration. And there's really a smorgasbord of classes to pick in both sort of concentrations. On the entrepreneurship side, you have entrepreneurial strategy, entrepreneurial finance, launch your startup. And again, these classes are the ones we put on this slide. There's almost no point me reading them in the sense that by the time you hopefully have joined us and are in your second year, there's going to be a whole bunch of new classes. We're launching electives now focusing heavily on Gen AI, which will no doubt fit in one or the other of these categories. So you do sort of have those options. But again, as a result, based on what you're hoping to do after you graduate from this program, you get to pick which of these sort of best matches the path you want to go down. Right, you're muted, Ryan.
Well, thank you for catching me there. Just want to talk a little bit about the unmatched opportunities you'll find here at Columbia University. In addition to the curriculum, the wonderful opportunities that are available to our students as part of the MBA XMS community. You will be a part of both schools, which will give you access to both sets of resources as well, kind of dipping into the School of Engineering, Office of Student Affairs, Career Management Center, as well as the business school side, having those equal opportunities.
Hello, everyone. Hi. No worries. Just telling everyone good morning from New York City. My name is Natasha Stanislas. I am the admissions counterpart over at SEAS. So I work closely with Harry and Daniel and Ryan with this program. And as a native New Yorker, usually they wheel me out to talk about all of the great and many benefits you have to studying in New York. It's completely unmatched, the type of innovative environments that you have at your fingertips. And as Ryan just shared, you are going to be very much a full member of each of these communities. And so with that, you have two campuses, both Morningside and Manhattanville campus, which is brand new, just opened in 2022. There's over 3,000 companies headquartered in New York City. So this program provides unique access and opportunities to meet with world leaders in business, data analytics, and more. And of course, there's extensive opportunities here at Columbia for in-house mentors, alumni, speakers, and events on both campuses, where you're able to really make sure that your internship opportunities are extended well beyond the summer. And New York City really provides foundation, which you're able to launch a path forward. Harry, did you have something you wanted to add?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I was just getting a head start on the next slide. Are you going to present this one, Natasha? I couldn't remember.
I'm happy to, if you'd like.
Take it away.
We always like to mention the distinguished speakers and conferences we're able to host at both of Columbia Business School and Columbia Engineering. Because we are in New York City, we do have that advantage that we're able to attract not just wonderful program directors, but also CEOs, founders, astronauts even to our campus. Just bumped into Mike Massimino the other day. On the slide, we have Nina Tandon, who was our class speaker, I believe, last year. She's the co-founder and CEO of EpiBone, a biotech company which grows bone and cartilage for skeletal reconstruction.
So I mentioned throughout some of the world-class resources that you'll have, again, at both schools, that is in regards to one-on-one career coaching, global alumni connections. We have alumni clubs throughout the world in both the engineering school as well as the business school, and they are a wonderful community to get tapped into. For the Career Management Center, we have coaches, we have CMC fellows, which are other second-year students that you can utilize as mentors for you to navigate your process. We have a program called Executives in Residence as well, which is composed of about 28 C-level, former or current C-level executives in various industries, everything from retail and luxury to banking, that they'll be able to provide you one-on-one coaching, guidance, and how you navigate your summer internship or your post-graduation as well. We also have a number of resources like Columbia Build Lab, Columbia Startup Lab, as well as our Eugene M. Lang Entrepreneurship Center to help our students with their entrepreneurship endeavors, providing them with coaching, everything from business planning to reaching out to investors, things like that. Here's just a kind of a taste of some of these successful entrepreneurs that have come through the Columbia University campus. Over the years, we've had over 700 venture-backed startups and over 20 unicorns in the past 10 years alone. One example that I like to point out, which is pretty relevant and huge in today's industry, is the Beyond Meat company, which is doing wonderful things in that industry. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, we also have had some great endeavors go through our doors, such as the Compass platform in the real estate world.
And just to be clear, these are founded by Columbia alumni.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for mentioning that as well. And with this program, you have the entrepreneurship track as well as the enterprise concentration. And I just wanted to show you again a sampling of the recruitment that comes through the Columbia University campus. This is again not comprehensive by any means, but it's some pretty big names out there, as you can see: Amazon, Spotify, Microsoft, Apple, all companies that you hopefully want to work for in the future if enterprise is your career goal.
Yes, and part of those career goals are being able to really have unmatched access and opportunities to work alongside, work with, work for really a worldwide alumni network of over 103,500 persons that you're able to access even as a student. So being able to have that combined C's and CBS alumni network allows you to really just be able to continually get feedback from, advice from, mentorship from, and learning alongside really, people at the top of their game in various industries. Additional or specific notable alumni we have here on this slide from both schools. I always like to give a shout out to Ursula Burns. She graduated from our mechanical engineering department. She went on to become the CEO of Xerox and was a founding member of Change the Equation, a nonprofit program to boost STEM education. She's one of many notable alumni from both sides of our program who've gone on to become founders and CEOs. We both have really robust executives in residence and opportunities for you to really get to know people from business, technology, and engineering. And I'd also really add that they're great supporters of our programs as well, that they're really ingrained with our communities.
Okay, just want to thank you, Daniel and Harry, for your valuable input here. We're going to move more into the admissions side of things before some Q&A at the end. But yes, just want to talk some next steps, and we're going to go through what we're looking for in terms of the admissions process for this particular program.
Yes, so for this program, we really take a holistic approach to the admissions and review process. Earlier, there was a question in the chat about whether or not we're two separate applications or one. We are one application where we come together as staff, as faculty, to really consider and review your application along, let's say, three buckets, right? So your academic history, there's the alignment with professional goals, as well as your personal characteristics. So we know that it can be an intense academic experience here at Columbia University for one graduate degree, let alone two. We really want to make sure that in the application, you're making the case that this dual degree is going to align with your goals. We do want to preferably see that you've studied STEM for an undergrad. We want to know that you can really thrive in academically pursuing graduate level courses in engineering and business. We will be requiring a GMAT or GRE score for this particular program, so you want to take that into your planning as well. And generally speaking, we'd like to have a minimum work experience of 2 years for this program. That's just the minimum, with most students having an average of 5 years of post-college full-time work experience. experience. And with alignment of your professional goals, we really want to get the sense through your application that you are expressing an interest in creating or joining a startup, or that you would really want an enhanced role at an established tech firm, or even looking to expand your opportunities as a technology product manager. So in the application, we'll be very clear and ask specifically, what is your post-MBA XMS goal? And then, of course, with personal characteristics, we want to get to know you as a candidate. We want to get to know you through your recommendations, your essay, and as you discuss your professional promise through your interview, which is by invitation only. We want to get a sense of what you would be able to add to our class.
Thank you. And before we jump into the application deadlines here, I just want to preface all of this information regarding the dates and deadlines is on the website. So please feel free to take a screenshot or anything like that, but know it is available. So there are 3 different rounds when it comes to this program that you can apply for. The first round deadline is coming up September 10th. This year, and applications will be due by 12 o'clock Eastern on that day. Final decisions released by December 20th of this year, and our round 2 deadline, January 7th of next year. Within those first 2 rounds, I just did want to mention those are the only rounds that you would be available for institutional funding from Columbia University, merit scholarships and things like that, which I'll get into in a second. But just wanted to mention, if you were interested in that, please apply within round 1 or round 2. However, all rounds are treated equally. We truly want you to apply in the round that you feel your application is the strongest and you are ready. So please don't feel rushed to apply by a certain deadline or anything like that. We want to ensure that your application is strong and ready to submit. When it comes to the requirements, and Natasha did a wonderful job of laying those out, but wanted to just go through those for you. So it consists of an online application that you will need to submit in addition to your resume, the 1 essay, in addition to your post-MBA XMS goal, which you can think of as a short kind of tweet length there about what it is that you want to accomplish. We also want to get an understanding of what your plan is for the summer in terms of pursuing entrepreneurship or enterprise and what your plan might be. We do require 2 letters of recommendation as well. Our preference is that one comes from the academic field and one come from your professional field. However, we understand that may not always be completely possible. So 2 professional letters of recommendation is okay in some circumstances. We also require your transcripts in addition to a GRE or GMAT score. And as mentioned, interviews are by invitation only, and there's an application fee associated with this program. There are 3 main ways to fund your education here at Columbia University. It's through, and most students use a combination of all 3 of these, whether it be merit-based funding, and that comes from Columbia University. And as I mentioned, you will need to apply in round 1 or round 2. There's no additional steps necessary. Just by applying in those in round 1 or round 2, you'll automatically be considered for merit-based funding. Need-based funding would be a separate application that you would apply for and just provide us with some more in-depth information about your need. And then there are loans and external resources available for you to pursue as well. And our financial aid offices are happy to work with you in terms of navigating that process. Wanted to reserve the last 15 or so minutes here that we are together for some open Q&A. I know that you had some great information thus far, but if you have any specific questions, we'd love to help get those addressed for you.
Meanwhile, Brian, should we just go through the questions in the chat?
Yes, absolutely.
So the first question is there any tuition fee waiver code available? I defer that one to you.
Yes. There is no tuition fee waiver code, but there is an application fee waiver available that you can submit for, and there are certain requirements that you do need to meet. For example, if you are within a graduate level program or in your undergraduate, if you are in currently in the military as well. So please look into that, but there is available to apply for.
And on the second question, is it one interview or two? There's just one interview with the business school.
Correct. There would be just one interview, and it would be, again, by invitation only. And once that would be the final step in the process.
How is the program evolving? So that's an excellent question from Nikki around the evolution of the program. And we anticipate that the program will evolve, change in small ways every year. I'll give you an example. This year, for the incoming class, we have set up a kind of crash program in Python, which the students will take or test out of in August before the program even formally begins. The reason we've done that is we've realized that some familiarity with Python is so important for so many of our classes these days that we wanted to level up everybody in the program to at least have a basic understanding. And we think that's going to make it easier for people to be on a more level playing field throughout the first year. We anticipate making small changes in the sequence of classes over the course of the entire program.
I should also note, to the extent it helps you, that we are certainly imagining the program growing in the future, but we're not in a rush. I mean, this second class that we're about to admit is basically the same size as the first class we admitted, and we really want to focus on the quality of the program, the quality of students in the program, as well as modestly growing the program as the years go by. So that's kind of the direction we're thinking. There's a number of questions, Ryan, you might be able to answer about being able to apply for the full-time MBA in addition to this program.
Yes, I was just going to address that. So if you are interested in the MBA XMS program, please apply to that as opposed to the 2-year full-time MBA program, as you are not able to submit 2 applications at the same time for this program as well as the full-time program.
And then a question from Teresa about the STEM requirement. And we do have a STEM requirement in the program. And we expect people to have a basic math background. There's some sort of calculus requirements, and we're looking for some basic programming requirements that you can that you could fulfill over the summer in advance of entering the class. So Teresa, if you have any particular questions or concerns, because you say that you have exposure in AI, but you didn't have a STEM undergraduate degree, send me an email and I can take a look at what your background is and advise on whether I think it would get through, okay?
Another question here, is there any limit on which concentration I can pick? For example, is it harder to get admission for AI and machine learning concentration?
No, we are looking for the best students, and we are not limiting the intended concentration. A question from Sophia saying, I recently graduated in 2023. Can I apply to this program? Yes, I think you could, but you would need to have had 2 years work experience before you enter the program. And I think if you were to enter in 2025, that would be possible.
Yes. And is there any disadvantage if we apply for second round instead of first? No, there is no disadvantage at all. And to be open with you, the first 2 rounds are generally our more voluminous rounds for this program, and that reverts back to what I was mentioning earlier, is those are the only 2 rounds institutional funding is available from the school for merit-based scholarships, but no disadvantage in any round. We wouldn't offer 3 rounds if there was a disadvantage to applying in any certain round.
Let me pick up this question from Karen Kumar, which is similar to the question from Teresa, which is, do I need an undergraduate STEM degree? I have a bachelor's degree in finance and analytics. So we have admitted some students with backgrounds in finance but we take a closer look at the transcript. We want to make sure that you really do have a strong background in math and it looks like you do because you also studied analytics, and that you have some knowledge of programming. And the couple of students who were in the first year of the class who had a background in finance have done quite well so far. So yes, do apply. And in fact, part of the reason we set up this program was to help students pivot from the program that they had, the direction they were taking coming out of the undergraduate program, towards something that they feel is a better fit for their future. So we're looking for students who've studied chemical engineering, for example, in their undergraduate degree, and are now interested in developing climate solutions using AI, for example. We're excited to find students with strong technical skills who are looking to redirect how they apply those technical skills and then relearn or learn again different technical skills. And the same applies to people with backgrounds in finance and economics, but we do look more carefully at your application.
I see a question here asking about the comparison between this program and MIT LGO or Harvard's MS MBA. I'm sure you'll all understand that, none of us, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, my other panelists are experts on those programs, and we would never presume to talk for another school. What I will say, which might be helpful for you, is perhaps we could tell you a little bit of what we think makes this program so special, maybe just to give you a few points of comparison to think about and look at and questions to ask. So just a few things that come to mind for me is, first of all, the fact that you really are getting the full MBA experience and the full engineering experience. For a lot of other programs I've seen, and I have no idea if this is the case about the two programs you mentioned, so please don't take it as an indication of that, but some programs I've seen in the past, they kind of are joint programs between a business school and an engineering department, but you don't really get the full MBA experience. You don't get the same access to their career services. You don't get the same networking opportunities with other MBA students. Here at Columbia, you will be with the other MBA students. To be more specific, you'll be part of our MBA J-term class. That's who you'll do the call with, and you'll have access to all MBA students currently at Columbia Business School. And similarly, you'll be a full member of the engineering department. So that's one thing that I think is worth asking or thinking about. Another thing that I think is worth asking and thinking about is, whether there are any classes or any parts of the program that are specific to this MBA XMS program. And in our case, the answer is absolutely yes. We have the stats and business analytics class. We have the fact you have that foundation of entrepreneurship. You have all the engineering classes we mentioned in the full semester of the first year. These are not classes other people take. These are very, very specifically designed for this program, as opposed to, again, some other programs I've seen where it's kind of, cobbling together a few classes from around various schools to put together a program. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It depends on what you're looking for. It depends on how the program is structured, what its aims are. But we are a very, very kind of bespoke offering that honestly, even at Columbia, I've rarely seen before. There's something really kind of special about the amount of customization and the full MBA/engineering experience you also get. So those are just some things to think about. Might be worth asking yourself, is that, do those things sound interesting to you? Do those things sound valuable to what you're looking for? And how do those compare with some other programs you're looking at, whatever they might be?
Absolutely. Just a easy one here. Is there a separate application for the regular 2-year MBA program? Yes, there is. So this MBA XMS application is separate from the full-time MBA application and is separate from any engineering program that you might be interested in as well. So you'll complete one application when applying to the MBA XMS program, and you'll be essentially applying to both schools at the same time through this joint application.
I see a question. How is the total workload of the dual program? Does it leave enough time to participate in all the traditional activities of MBA, including class trips and networking events? Time is a very flexible thing. I wouldn't presume to tell you what you might or might not have time to do. What I can tell you, which I think is a much stronger response to you, is just looking at the current students in the program. They are absolutely fully involved with the sort of MBA social calendar. I know they have trips they go on. I know that some of them even run for positions in some of the MBA student clubs, and certainly that's our intention. So I'll put that out there. I will also point out that even though the workload is, of course, very heavy for this program, you're working in 2 schools, you're doing 2 sort of sets of work, bear in mind that in some ways you're also going to find some topics easier than regular full-time MBA students. Some of them, for example, in their core finance classes are going to be really struggling with the mathematics they're going to need to contend with when it comes to, for example, I don't know, well, I'm not even going to go into finance examples, it's not my expertise, but that's the kind of thing that you, for example, might find easier and have a lower workload there. So, I wouldn't necessarily say, that there's, it's not like you're going to be sort of, absolutely heads down in your books the entire time. That is not our intention for the program. We want you to benefit from everything there is to get out of Columbia Business School and indeed Columbia Engineering.
Absolutely. And to quickly echo that, Daniel, is as you mentioned, students in this program will be joining our January term of entry students at the business school. So at that time, you would be in residency at Columbia Business School in your second term, joining the new set of MBA students who have just entered our program as well. And you will be separated from your MBA XMS cohorts and really ingrained in the MBA experience at that point, being part of our cluster system, which is a group of 75 students who will navigate that core curriculum together that we offer. And then in addition, you will be placed on a learning team, which is a smaller group, about 4 to 5 students who really you'll be working on all of your homework and your group assignments together to navigate that core curriculum as well. So students who might not necessarily have the technical experience that you do, you will definitely be able to support them in the assignments as they might be able to support you in other ways as well. Okay. Well, I think any parting words?
So I think we're out of time, but there's I see a few questions that people wanting to ask me specifically questions, and I'm sure there are others for other people here too. So if you Google Harry West at Columbia, you will find a page with my email address. And send me an email and I will do my best to respond. I have to let you know that I'll be off the grid, literally no connection at all for the next 10 days. But when I get back, I will do my best to respond. So fire those emails at me.
Lovely. And if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our offices as well. You can see the contact us email address there, which was sent to our admissions office, and we'll be happy to assist you further and answer any questions for you. And we just want to thank you for your time this morning, this afternoon, this evening. This is a lovely thank you from our first inaugural class of the program. And they're excited to welcome you to the program as well. So thank you again for all of our panelists at time here, Natasha, Harry, Daniel. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us today.